అరే నేను పెట్టారా మళ్ళీ ఉతికి బనీన్ కొద్దిగా దగ్గరికి వస్తేనే సర్ఫ్ నీళ్ళు వేసి మళ్ళీ జాడిచి పెట్టాను. Hello, am I audible to you? Hello. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. I will. Last class we have discussed some types of systems and all. Now you see two vessels are shown stating state 1 and state 2. Is it visible to you?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Visible. Some people are joining. Okay. At state 1 and at state 2, there are two vessels shown stating temperature, volume. In the first chamber, temperature is 20 and volume is 1.5. In the second chamber, temperature is 20 and volume is 2.5. So these are the two states. And you see the second figure below, underneath figure, there is one chamber with some gas or fluid, and different temperatures are shown at different points. And in the second chamber, that is chamber B, a box containing some gas, at all the points the temperature is shown to be the same, that is 32 degrees centigrade. So this means in the second chamber the system is in equilibrium, thermal equilibrium. That means thermal equilibrium is the one where there is no temperature difference within the chamber. With time, it won't change. Okay, that is thermal equilibrium. And in the first chamber, the gas is not in thermal equilibrium, or the system is not in thermal equilibrium. The second chamber, the system is in thermal equilibrium. So before going to that, the properties we discussed. What are the properties? Till now, we discussed some properties. Properties of a substance or matter. Density is there, specific volume is there, specific weight is there, like that. Those are all properties of the system, right? Okay, these properties are defined based on the concept of continuum. Is it visible to you? This is very simple. This is very simple. You need not go through all the statements given under continuum. So, for example, you consider a glass of water. So there the matter is, that is water is continuous fluid. There is no gaps within the water. Therefore, the density is defined as mass by volume. Unlike water, we in other real applications we approach the continuum approach. That is, the matter is taken to be one entity. That is, one entity or continuous. That means there is no distance between molecules that we can see. In the case of a glass of water, for example, there is molecule continuity, and all the practical systems which we come across in thermodynamics will be taken to be following. Just wait, people are still entering. Okay, mute yourself, all of you mute yourself. Only when something is asked, then only you please unmute yourself. Okay, continuum approach is a little bit confusing topic, but nothing is there. Continuum means the approach or concept is applicable for a continuous fluid, and all the fluids I am saying, all the fluids are substances which we consider in thermodynamics, in reality, as continuum, as continuum fluids or continuous fluids. So for example, in a glass volume, suppose only there are 10 molecules of water, for example. Can you apply the density principle there? That is mass by volume there? We cannot apply, because if the glass has only 10 molecules of water, the distance between the molecules is very high, and the matter is not distributed continuously, and therefore such type of systems will not come under continuum approach. Of course, we don't require such type of systems, and this is an idealization which is described. And usually the non-continuum approach is applicable for space applications, where the distance between the molecules in space applications is too large to consider. That means we should consider. And continuum approach in space applications is not applicable there. But in our ordinary engineering problems, we follow continuum approach. That is, the density is defined as mass by volume. It means that the volume considered is sufficiently large, sufficiently large, and it contains a fluid which is continuous fluid, like water, like a gas. For example, like that. Now, coming to equilibrium definition. Just now we discussed thermal equilibrium. What is thermal equilibrium? Thermal equilibrium is said to be the one where there is no temperature differential at any instant. That is thermal equilibrium. And there are several types of equilibrium. Pressure equilibrium there, that means force equilibrium. Mechanical equilibrium. Mechanical equilibrium is related to forces or pressures, and the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium if there is no change in pressure at any point of the system. Then the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium. And there is phase equilibrium also. If a system contains a single phase, and it should be it is a single phase equilibrium. And if it is in two phase region, then it will be in equilibrium when the mass of each phase reaches an equilibrium state and stays there. So phase equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, and chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium is the one where the chemical composition does not change with time, or there are no chemical reactions within the system. And all engineering problems, because we are not considering nuclear applications in our engineering, our thermal engineering problems, we need not consider chemical, we need not have chemical reactions. So all the systems in general. Now, a thermodynamic equilibrium. A thermodynamic equilibrium is said to exist in the system when there are thermal equilibrium, mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, and phase equilibrium. All these equilibriums are established. That means thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium, there should not be any temperature difference. Mechanical equilibrium, there should not be any pressure difference between molecules, like that. Chemical equilibrium, there should not be any chemical reactions within the system, like that. Similarly, phase equilibrium. We will not come across phase equilibrium till some time, but however, these equilibriums are considered, and these equilibriums, if these are established in a system, then only we say that the system is executing a thermodynamic equilibrium, or a system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium is different and thermodynamic equilibrium is different. Thermal equilibrium is related to only temperature, but a thermodynamic equilibrium requires the equality of pressures, equality of temperatures, equality of chemical composition, like that. Like that, thermodynamic equilibrium. This is a very important concept which will be tested in our problems, in our concept. And the state of system we discussed earlier. It is described by some characteristics or some properties. Say pressure of the system, temperature of the system, like that. The state of the system is described by its characteristics, like pressure, specific volume, temperature, etc. One sufficient number of properties are specified. I asked you earlier how many coordinates are required to locate a point on XY coordinate system. I asked you. Somebody said some x is, I said x is equal to 5. Somebody said y equal to 0. It is correct. That means the two coordinates must be given. Then only we will locate the point on XY coordinate. In the same way, the state of a system can be located on thermodynamic diagrams, on thermodynamic charts by knowing any two properties, but they should be intensive independent properties, independent and intensive properties. If you have any question, you ask me now. You need not raise your hand. You unmute yourself and ask if you have any doubt. Okay. For a single phase region, for a single phase system, for example, say here, nitrogen gas is taken in this chamber. See, the two independent intensive properties, temperature and specific volume, are given. These are required to locate the state point, to locate that what is location of the state, on which diagram will you locate temperature on one axis, volume on other axis. That is corresponding to a temperature of 25 degrees centigrade and corresponding to a specific volume of 0.9, like x and y coordinate system. Here also some t and v coordinate system. On t and v coordinate system, the state of nitrogen in this piston cylinder can be located. That is, see, this is a single phase substance, nitrogen. Any system of single phase, we will require these two properties, temperature or pressure and specific volume. We will explain this in depth later. The state of a simple compressible system. What do you mean by a simple compressible system? So a simple compressible system is the one which is in the absence of electrical effects, magnetic effects, gravitational effects, and surface tension effects. Of course, we don't deal with all these effects, and these will not come across in our thermodynamic problems. Therefore, all our problems we consider simple compressible systems. Now, to locate the state point of a compressible system, it requires two independent intensive properties. Two independent. What is independent? What is dependent? We will see later. Intensive properties we discussed in the earlier classes. The intensive properties, I repeat, is the properties which do not depend on the mass, which do not depend on the mass. I told you, in a glass of water, for example, which is at 60 degrees centigrade, if you measure it with a thermometer, it will read 60 degrees centigrade. And even if some water is removed from that, you will measure the same 60 degrees centigrade also. Then also, that means the temperature is independent. That is independent on mass of the system, which is an intensive property. So temperature is intensive property. Similarly, we discussed that pressure is an intensive property, like that. See, in one phase region, two properties are sufficient, two independent properties. One property can be varied by holding the other property constant. For example, temperature and specific volume, or temperature, pressure and specific volume. These together can fix the state of a simple compressible system, as shown in case of nitrogen. So in this case, it is nitrogen is in a single phase region, and temperature and volume, either temperature and volume or pressure and volume are to be known to locate the state point. Now, the dependency and independency of the properties among themselves is described at now. For example, what is the boiling point of water? One of you, please respond.
100 degrees centigrade.
Very good. That is at sea level, it is 100 degrees centigrade. That means in our say homes, we will boil the water, and if you measure the temperature, it will be 100 degrees centigrade. Now, the boiling point is dependent on the altitude also. For example, if you for example, it on mountain top, which is at a high altitude, the pressure will be lower, and also the water boils at a very low temperature. All these can be known by using a steam table, because we cannot visualize all these here. Nobody can visualize. That means if I ask you what would be the temperature of boiling point of water at mountain top, you cannot answer. You have to ask what is the pressure there. What is the pressure there? You have to ask. So corresponding to the lower pressure, and you can read the temperature, saturation temperature corresponding to the pressure given to you. You can read the temperature, saturation temperature from steam tables. So therefore, as a mechanical engineer, we require steam tables and read these boiling points and all by using steam tables. There, that means here these two are temperature is dependent on pressure. So that means as pressure is lowered, the temperature is lowered. So there, this is during a phase change process. A phase change process, the temperature is a function of pressure. In that way, the temperature and pressure are not sufficient to fix a two-phase system. Say for example, in steam case, then in steam case, the steam, once water is converted into steam, there will be two phases. One is liquid water, and another is gaseous water, which is steam. So there, the temperature and pressure are dependent. That means only either temperature or pressure is to be taken as one independent property, not both. That means if a substance is in two-phase region, if both temperature and pressure are given, it is meaningless. That means either temperature or pressure is required, not both. Why not both? Because a two-phase region, that means if temperature is given, the pressure can be known automatically from steam tables. Reading from steam tables, that is at a given temperature, the saturation pressure can be read. Similarly, at given pressure, the saturation temperature can be read from steam tables. Why steam tables? When there is a two-phase region. A two-phase region, steam tables is required. So in that way, for a two-phase region, two-phase system, that is when water is converted into steam, there we require only either temperature or pressure and not both. Then what is the other independent property which we require? The independent property which we require should be the specific volume. That means either temperature and specific volume. Those two independent properties are pressure and specific volume must be given. For a two-phase system which is undergoing a phase change, we require among temperature and pressure, only one is required. One is taken as independent property. The other independent property should not be pressure, but it is specific volume or temperature and specific volume, or pressure and specific volume. That means in this T is equal to F of P, either T or P should be given. And these between T and P, only one should be taken as one independent property. Hello, understood this concept? To locate a state point, I repeat, two independent properties are required, but we are discussing for two-phase region, that is where systems are converting into second phase. For example, water, if it is started converting into steam, then we require two independent properties. What are the two independent properties for a two-phase region, two-phase system? Hello? Here, the last sentence you see, the temperature and pressure are not sufficient to fix the state of a two-phase system. Now, I explained this. Now tell me, what are the two properties that are two independent properties that are required to locate the state of the phase change process, the phase change system or two-phase system? What are the two independent properties required? Is it temperature and pressure? Tell me yes or no. Hello? Some intelligent people are there, no doubt. All of you responding. Hello, you unmute yourself and tell me, what are the two properties that we
Sir, temperature and
temperature,
pressure.
not temperature and pressure. For a two-phase system, temperature and pressure are dependent properties. That is, you see, T equal to F of P. That means, you see, in the first statement what I wrote, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, but on mountain top where the pressure is lower, water boils at lower temperature. That means as pressure is decreased, temperature is decreased, or temperature is a function of pressure, or P is a function of temperature, like that. So if this is there, if you write T is equal to F of P, then T is a dependent property. P is an independent property. So here P should be taken as independent intensive property. So other than T, we should require small v, specific volume. So here, if T equal to F of P given, P is independent property, and other than that, some specific volume or other property is required, but other than temperature, like that, a two-phase region, for a two-phase region, both temperature and pressure should not be taken as two independent properties, whereas for a single phase region, we can take. For example, water you can take. For example, some other gas, nitrogen earlier, if as long as the nitrogen is in single phase, we can take temperature and volume or temperature and pressure also, as long as this is in one phase, like that. But if it is in two phase, temperature and volume is required, or pressure and volume is required. So okay, you see the very logic to understand this type of concepts is to do some problems. Therefore, you are suggested to do some problems in the coming classes. And I asked you in the very beginning class to be with calculator and notes. We can deal with some problems in the next class, in the other classes, coming classes. Then you will make yourself thorough with these simple concepts. These are very simple concepts. You need not worry. These are very simple concepts. So here, now I said a two-phase region is described by, or a state of a two-phase region is located by either temperature and specific volume or pressure and specific volume. So okay, when time permits, I will explain again that. Now, what is a process? We have been dealing with the process since long back. That is any change of state point. If a system changes from one state to other state, and from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state, then the system is said to have undergone a process. For example, the process is shown here. See, the state 1, at state 1, some property A is at A1 and property B is at B1. This is a common diagram, common thermodynamic diagram, which can be used to locate state points. And these two properties, that is property A and property B, are independent properties. And if the system changes from state 1 to state 2, what does this mean? See, again, go back. To this one. So this is what drawn there. So in the first figure, which is the system is shown with some color, a gas is shown with some color. So there, the state point, the property 1 is specific volume, and property 2 or property A is specific volume, and property B is temperature. So there, specific volume is 1.5 and temperature is 20. And here in the state 2, the specific volume has been changed. That means expansion of the gas shown. The same is shown there in the process. So here also, if you assume property B as specific volume, here the gas has been expanded. So here, like this. And okay, I will show that later. Here at state 1, if you assume property B as specific volume, it is at lower specific volume, and after it attained state 2, that is after expansion has been done, and it reached an equilibrium state 2, and the path connecting these two equilibrium states is called a process path. That means this may be any process, maybe any isothermal process, like that. What is isothermal, we will explain later. Several processes are there. So the connecting line which connects equilibrium state 1 and equilibrium state 2 is called process path. You see, A system undergoes from one equilibrium state to another equilibrium state, and the process undergone by the system is said to be the process. The change undergone by the system from one equilibrium state to other equilibrium state is called a process, or we can tell that the system has undergone a process, and the process may be any process, maybe isothermal process, polytropic process, like that, which we have discussed, which we had learned in the earlier classes, very preliminary classes, adiabatic process, like that we discussed. So many processes are there, and so there is a, see here in this figure, what is between state 1 and state 2? There are several states, and we assume all these infinite states between state 1 and state 2 are as equilibrium states. That means the process undergone by the system is executed through equilibrium states, that is sequential equilibrium states. That means all the process undergone by the system is from equilibrium state 1 to equilibrium state 2 through infinite equilibrium states. That is what the series of states through which a system passes through a process is called the path of the process. And what is path, you will understand logically. For example, to connect point 1 and point 2, is it the only way to connect the points 1 and 2? Hello? To connect point 1 and point 2, is it the only way to connect? Very good. Somebody is drawing. There are several paths. There are several ways in which we can connect. That is what the process. It is, for example, if this is isothermal, somebody has drawn some other way. That may be a polytropic process. In any way we connect point 1 and point 2. That means in several ways we can connect these 2 points. All those several ways are called different paths. And of course, we will learn those simple things in the later stages. Somebody are still waiting in the room. Now, see, there are 2 figures given. One is, say there is a cylinder and piston. Inside the cylinder and piston, we assume a gas. What the assumption followed is a compressible gas, simple compressible substance. The thermodynamic fluids or thermodynamic systems which we consider in engineering are all simple compressible systems. So here also a gas is taken, and in the first figure there is the system has been changing from say this first red arrow you see in the first figure, from this point to this point the system has proceeded. The process has been executed from say a little distance, and therefore we assume that this is a slow compression process. And here in the second figure, in the same time, for example, this piston with see this red mark, that is from the same position from the same point in the cylinder in the same time. For example, the piston has reached too far and then too far and too fast. That means very fast compression. So here the first figure describes a slow compression. That means the piston could travel only a little distance in a given time. Whereas in the second figure, the piston has traveled far distance, little more distance, far more distance than the first case. So far more distance in the same time. So we take this as very fast compression. These two are illustrated to explain the quasi-static or quasi-equilibrium process. That means that is the gas, if it is compressed slowly from one state to other state very slowly, then the process has been said to be executing in a quasi-equilibrium process. Most of the quasi-equilibrium processes can be considered as reversible processes. A reversible process is the one which can be reversed without changing the system and surroundings. Some disturbance is coming. All of you unmute your mics. Okay. So a quasi-equilibrium process is the one where the movement of piston is infinitesimally small, infinitesimally slow. That means dead slow, very slow. Then only the process or compression process is said to be quasi-equilibrium process. And why these two are illustrated? These are illustrated because in thermodynamics, all the process, whether compression process or expansion process, they are taken to be quasi-equilibrium process. Because if the process is executed in quasi-equilibrium manner, then only it will give more work, like that. Or it will take, okay, if a work producing device is there, then if the process is executed in a quasi-equilibrium process, then only we will get more work, like that. If it is a fast process, then we will not get any work. In that way, all the thermodynamic processes in reality are modeled as quasi-equilibrium processes. But of course, the real processes are not that much slow, but this is a mathematical model with which the real process and the real process can be studied. And theoretically, there is no quasi-equilibrium real process. All the real processes are, of course, not slow processes, but they can be studied. That means, what is the work done by our real process? It can be studied, it can be calculated by approaching a quasi-equilibrium theory, a quasi-equilibrium concept. Then, to some extent, we will assess the real process behavior. And for example, this is a very fast compression process where the piston has executed the process, the compression process, in a very fast manner. So this is called a non-quasi-equilibrium process. And a quasi-equilibrium process can be connected on a thermodynamic chart by a thick solid line, like this. And a non-quasi-equilibrium process between state 1 and state 2 can be drawn on thermodynamic chart with a dotted line. That means it is an irreversible process. See, I repeat, a reversible process is a quasi-equilibrium process. That means if suppose the process is reversed, that is from state 2 to state 1. The system and surroundings will not be affected. That means the system will reach the initial point without affecting the system and surroundings. That means the system properties will be restored and the surroundings properties can be restored, like that. So such a process is a reversible process. All the reversible processes are quasi-equilibrium processes, but all quasi-equilibrium processes need not be reversible processes. I repeat, all reversible processes are quasi-equilibrium processes, but all the reversible processes need not be reversible processes. Okay, the statement will be written later. I repeat, all the reversible processes are quasi-equilibrium processes, but all quasi-equilibrium processes need not be reversible processes. Of course, see, a reversible process is a quasi-equilibrium process, and a reversible process, if suppose the process is executed in a reversible manner, then we will get some work from that apparatus, or it can be studied. The work can be how assessed. And if it is executed in a non-quasi-equilibrium manner, there will not be any work. And we will, of course, learn thoroughly with examples in later stages. Now, one of you tell me which process is preferred in our thermodynamic real process. What is the theoretical concept with which real processes are assessed? Okay, I repeat, the real process, the behavior of real process can be studied with which type of process? A quasi-equilibrium process or non-quasi-equilibrium process? These are all new terminology, no doubt, and of course, you will take some time. It takes some time for anybody, even anybody. It takes some time, but you can grasp, no doubt. With all these illustrations, and this is a convenient tool we are using, therefore you can grasp. It is not non-quasi-equilibrium process. The non-quasi-equilibrium process is a fast process. You will not produce, right, that is, a quasi-equilibrium process is the one which can be modeled as a real process, or all the real processes can be studied with a quasi-equilibrium process, which is a slow process. That means, for example, in a real process, say, okay, I am going some in depth, say a turbine, for example, take what is the work done by turbine. You will assess the work done by taking the process that is taken by the turbine to be quasi-equilibrium and estimate the approximate work, but it need not be correctly, but to some extent near to actual value you will assess. So that is what quasi-equilibrium. But with non-quasi-equilibrium process, which is a very fast process, we cannot model, we cannot assess the real process. Therefore, these two processes are a theoretical process which we have to know. A very fast compression or very fast process is a non-quasi-equilibrium process which we need not consider in thermodynamics to assess the real situations. Now, all of you raise your hands. Somebody will take attendance because I have to sign out to enable others enter, other teacher enter.